hear me now? I think you can. All right. Alma, give me a confirmation if I'm audible. All right. All right, let us begin. And today's topic is going to be a little upper intermediate. It's going to be a little tough, but then if you focus, I'm pretty sure you're going to follow. Let us start. We had a little technical issue, but anyway, let us begin the session. Well, welcome all of you to Unacademy. This is Unacademy platform where you can crack your toughest of examinations with the help of top educators, quality content, not to forget the great learning experience. Therefore, join us and let us together crack 9th and 10th examinations with Unacademy's access, unlimited live and recorded courses from India's best educators. Let me first introduce myself though. I am Tasneem Ahmed and I have completed my Master's and MPhil in English. I have also been certified in TESOL and I have trained 1,000 plus students and I have 8 years of professional experience. Therefore, be rest assured you are in good hands. Today's topic, like I told you, is upper intermediate, that is conditionals. It's going to be a little tough to follow, but then trust me, it is definitely going to be asked in your 9th and 10th examinations. Not precisely by stating that these are conditionals, but then these conditionals will be asked for sure. And you guys being in 9th and 10th grade, you should be aware how to use these conditionals in your English language. So let us proceed with the topic. But first, let me give you a little more information about what you will get at Unacademy. Well, for starters, you have daily live classes where you can chat with your educator, engage in discussions, ask your doubts, and answer polls, all while the class is going on. Number 2, you have daily live tests and quizzes. Number 3, you have structured courses. All our courses are structured in line with your exam syllabus to help you best prepare for it. Number 4, which is the most important one, is the unlimited access to all our live and recorded courses to watch from the comfort of any of your devices. All you have to do is subscribe and get the access to free live classes and prepare from any of the top educators that Unacademy has, and also get the access to mathematics, any of the subjects, I mean the syllabus of any of these given subjects, mathematics, social science, Hindi, science, or English, of course. Well, you can also talk to us on Unacademy, Telegram application on this link. All you have to do is download the Telegram application, type the link in the URL, and then click on join, and you will connect with us. Well, you have to download the Unacademy Learning app, and then after having done that, you will be presented with a number of courses that Unacademy offers. Unacademy has courses starting from 1 month to 48 months. Well, the good thing about these courses is that as you go higher with the duration of these courses, you get the discount on these courses go higher as well. Now, if we take a look at these courses which are available for 6 months and then 12 and then 24 and 36 and 48 months, and parallelly take a look at the discounts as well. The course on 6 months is available for 33% discount, whereas the course which is available on 12 months duration is on a discounted rate of 50%, and then it goes higher to 58%, and it goes higher to 60%, and further it goes to 67% of off. Not just this, along with this, you also have 10% of additional discount when you use my code, that is TA01. If you are going to use, let us say for example, you decide to buy this course, you choose this, and then you proceed to pay, and then you type the code TA01, and you get additional 10% of discount on the existing discount. That is, in total, you get 60% of discount. So this course, which comes on a rate of 15,000, now is available on 13,500 after using the code TA01. Therefore, go ahead and use this code whenever you are buying the subscription for Unacademy. That is all about Unacademy. Let us now proceed towards learning conditionals. Well, can I get a hi from all those who have joined just now? A quick hi from somebody on YouTube, because I don't see even a single message over here. So if you could confirm that you guys are there, I could proceed. All right, not sure why I'm not getting the messages. Let me proceed. I'll hope that you guys will join in eventually. Like I was saying, today's topic is conditionals. And the question is, what is a conditional? Well, let me tell you that in a while. Well, conditionals are statements that describe both hypothetical and real scenarios. They are referred to as if clauses. They're referred to as if clauses. Focus on the word if. I hope you remember this is a conjunction, and we discussed about this word when we were discussing about conjunctions. And these are if clauses, as they begin with the conjunction if. Let us take an example. Supposing if I write, if you invest money, focus on the structure of the statement as well. If you invest money in property, comma, and now comes the other clause, that is, you will get handsome returns. Full stop. Now let us focus on the clauses over here. Number one, we have the if clause, which is this if clause, which is still here. And this is our clause number 2. Now, the thing that you have to focus is conditional. We have to establish the condition over here. Now, which of the statement establishes the condition over here? Now, here, if you say, if you invest money in property, only then you will get handsome returns. That is, if you fulfill this condition, only then you will be able to fulfill this action. And when you have this type of statement, like number 1, together, we of course have 2 clauses over here. We have 2 clauses, this being clause 1 and clause 2. This is our entire statement. This is our one single sentence. Now, this entire statement is what we refer to as a conditional statement. Why? Because in these 2 clauses, in this particular single statement, we have 2 clauses, and one of these clauses depict or expresses a condition. That is like this. Only if you invest money in property, only when this condition is fulfilled, this action can take place. So this is what is called as conditional. Well, let us proceed and learn about the different types of conditionals that we have. Conditionals. That is, okay. So we have 4 types of conditionals. Okay, I think I better get back to the red one. Okay, we have 4 types of conditionals. Number 1, zero conditional, which is called as possible. Number 2 is first conditional, which is referred to as probable. Number 3, we have second conditional, which is referred to as improbable. And number 4, we have third conditional, which is referred to as impossible. Let me take you through one by one of these conditionals so that we can discuss this in detail and you can focus a little more on the sentence structure. Well, number 1 is zero conditional. Number 1 is zero conditional, which is referred to as possible. Now, the zero conditional expresses something that is considered to be a universal truth. Universal truth or a general truth or a scientific fact. Focus on these terminologies: universal truth, general truth, or scientific fact. Before I give you the examples pertaining to these, let me point out the sentence structure of it. Now, what type of sentence structure are we going to use? If you remember, when I was discussing tenses, I took you through each and every structure of the tense. So if you remember that well, I'm pretty sure you will be able to understand conditionals in a jiffy. Let me give you the first sentence structure of zero conditional or possible. Now, the first, well, obviously, we are talking about conditionals over here. Therefore, it begins with if. Let me take a different color, yellow, brighter one. Okay, if. This is our if conditional. We are going to begin the statement with if, and then we are going to use the simple present. The simple present, and then we are going to use the second clause. Well, remember, there will be 2 clauses. One is the if clause, which will be in simple present, and then the other clause, which is also going to be in simple present in zero conditional, which is possible conditional. Focus on the sentence structure, that is, if clause will be in simple present, and then the second clause is also in simple present. Moving on, let me give you the examples of these. Number 1, if I give you this example, focus on this. If you are kind to others, if you are kind to others, then others are kind to you. Now, what is this? This is in fact a general truth. This is a general truth. How do you say that? If you are kind to others, others are kind to you. Focus, analyze on the type of statement that you are. Analyze at the meaning of the statement over here. If you are kind, this is the conditional statement over here. This is the condition that is laid over here. That is, if you are kind to others, that is, if this happens, then for sure this other thing will also happen. Others are kind to you. What did I say a little while ago? The sentence structure of this conditional is, that is zero conditional. I told you that the if clause is in simple present and the other clause is also in simple present. Now, what do we use in simple present? The sentence structure, we use subject. Soon after the subject, we either use the root verb or the plus s verb. For both of these tenses are in simple present. So this is the sentence structure that we use. So let us try and analyze at the sentence structure. Now, if clause, is it in simple present? You have you and then are. You are kind to others. Others are kind to you. So this is our verb, which is obviously a be verb, but I hope you remember when we were learning about simple present, I in fact told you the usage of be verbs as main verbs. So here we have used the be verb as our main verb over here. So this definitely qualifies as our simple present structure. So talking about the zero conditional, which is if you are kind to others, others are kind to you. So zero conditionals speak about things like general truth, number one over here. And proceeding, let me give you the other examples, like supposing if I say, if you heat ice, if you heat ice, it melts. Now, what do you think this statement is? This statement, this is our if conditional, and if you heat ice, you can see that this statement is in simple present. So this is our clause number one, and this is our clause number two. If you heat ice, it melts. This is in fact a scientific truth. It is our scientific, sorry, not the truth, but the fact. If you heat ice, it melts. So this is our scientific truth. And here we have general truth. Next, let me give you two more examples. Like supposing if I say, no, number three, right? Yep. So supposing if I write, if you, hold on. If we press the fast forward key, what do you think will happen? If this condition is fulfilled, what is expected? Well, the movie starts moving very fast. Very fast, full stop. So when this condition is fulfilled, if we press the fast forward key, when this action is done, the other action will happen for sure. The movie starts moving very fast. So this is another general truth. This is our another general truth. Let me give you one more example pertaining to this zero conditional. What are we learning? We are learning zero conditional, which is called also as possible conditions. Number four, we have, supposing if I write a statement like this, if you ask for a problem, you get a problem. Again, another general truth. So here it specifically says possible. The possibility of the other condition happening is 100%. It will for sure happen. If one condition is fulfilled, that is when if clause, when one condition is fulfilled, the other action is definitely going to happen. This is called as zero conditional, and the sentence structure that we are going to use is both simple present. So this is our zero conditional, or we also refer to that as possible conditional. Now moving on to the second one, which is referred to as first conditional. The first one was referred to as 0. Here, this one is referred to as first conditional, and it is also referred to as probable. Focus on the word. This word is pretty much self-explanatory. When you say probable, the possibility of actions happening are higher. Well, not entirely, but then the possibility of that action happening is pretty much higher. So this type of conditional is used to talk about things that are probable in the future. Focus on this. Of course, we can know what will happen in the future, but this describes possible things. If one condition happens, what is the other action? What is the possibility, or what is going to happen next is what we are going to talk about in first conditional, which are referred to as probable conditional. It implies that the condition is likely to be fulfilled. Now, what is the sentence structure that we are going to use over here? Obviously, we are going to begin with an if clause, and then the if clause is going to be in simple present, and then the second clause is going to be in simple future. If clause is going to be in simple present. That is, what is simple present structure? Well, it is subject and root or plus s. And what is simple future? Well, it is subject, and soon after the subject, we do use an auxiliary, that is will, and then we are going to use the root verb over here. So this is our simple future. So if clause is in simple present, and the other clause, the action which happens after the condition is fulfilled, is in fact in simple future. Focusing on this factor, let me give you the examples pertaining to this. Let me change the color of the pen. All right, number 1. Supposing if I say, if you work hard. Focus on the statement and also on the structure of the statement. If you work hard, this is your if clause. What is going to happen? What is going to happen? You will get promoted. Full stop. Now let us analyze this statement. That is if clause. This is your if clause. If you work hard, this is your condition. This is your condition. So when this condition is fulfilled, this action is likely to happen. The probability of this action happening is higher. Well, we are not assuring, but then what we are saying is the probability of this action happening is more, that you will get promoted. Sure, right? If you will work hard, then you are going to get promoted for sure. So this is about first conditional. This is first conditional or probable. That's what we refer to that as. Let me give you another example. That is, if I meet her, I will inform. If I meet her, I will inform. So if this condition is fulfilled, that is, if I meet her, if this condition is fulfilled, then this action is likely to happen. Probably this will happen. I will inform for sure. Well, in the second clause, we can use modals as well. What are modals, by the way? I hope you all remember what are modals that we have discussed in our previous classes. Well, modals are words like can, could, may, might, shall, should, etc. All these are referred to as modals. So in your second clause, that is when I gave you the example earlier, one I told you that is supposed to be in simple present and the other one is supposed to be in simple future. The one which is supposed to be in simple future takes the auxiliary will. So in the place of will, you can use all these models. So if I give you this example, if we look through these files, now let us talk about the second clause. That is, here let us not take will, but let us replace the word will into a model which is might. We might find some important clues. Now let us take a look, analyze this particular statement once again. If we look through these files, now this is our simple present. Simple present. We being the subject, look being the main verb or the root verb. So simple present, and then we have replaced the will into might, the model, and we might find some important clues. So if you analyze the whole statement, it speaks about the probability of the action happening. If we look through these files, we might find some important clues. So the probability of this action happening is almost, let us say, 95%. So here, when you are talking about the first conditional or the probable conditional, the actions are most likely going to happen. If this one condition is fulfilled, the second action will probably happen. Now let me give you one more example before I proceed to the next one. That is, supposing if I say, if we get an investor, now this is another clause, we can start our company. There you go, full stop. This is our if conditional, simple present, in simple present, and this is our second clause, which is we can, instead of will, we have used can, which is a model. We can start our company. So if this condition is fulfilled, then this action is most likely to happen. Let us now move on to the third one, that is second conditional, which is in fact the third one, but we are going to refer to this as improbable conditional, and this is referred to as second conditional. Remember, the first one is 0, the second one is first, the third one is second. The first one talks about facts, general truths. The second one talks about the possibility. If one condition is fulfilled, the other thing is most likely to happen. The third one is when you are referring to the conditionals or the actions. Like in this conditional, the if clause presents an unreal or an hypothetical situation, or totally an imaginary situation. Here, when we are talking about improbable, meaning these things are never going to happen, all we're going to do is we are just going to imagine all these things in our head, and we're going to tell ourselves whether these things, if supposing this would have happened, then what could have been the possible outcome or the situation. Like I said, hypothetical situation, which means imaginary, or supposing if the scenario had been totally different. Before I give you the example of this thing, let me give you the example, the sentence structure. Let us talk about the sentence structure. Obviously, we are going to begin with the if clause, and the if clause is in simple past. The if clause over here is in simple past, and then we have would. The second clause takes would. It doesn't follow any tense, but then instead of that, we are going to use the auxiliary, the model would over here in our second clause. Let me now give you the examples and make this clarity, bring out the clarity over here. Number one, what did I say? These are hypothetical situations, right? So if these are hypothetical situations, let us imagine. Imagine what? If I had wings. If I had wings, I would fly all over. All over. Now, if I had wings, obviously, possibility of this action happening is almost nil. Well, me even using the word almost is, not really sensible, because obviously we cannot possibly have wings. Therefore, this is a condition that is never going to happen. But still, we are talking about these actions and we are imagining things. We are putting these scenarios in a hypothetical situation. We are imagining ourselves in a particular situation and then imagining what could have possibly happened, or what would actually happen when this action is, if this condition is fulfilled. Like, if I had wings, what could have happened? What would have happened? Well, I would fly all over. Obviously, don't you think this is possible? Certainly, yes. And number 2, let me give you another example. Supposing if I say, if I won a lottery. If I won a lottery, I would go on a world tour. Well, who wouldn't, right? If we had enough of money, obviously we would definitely think of going on a world tour if this condition is fulfilled. But chances of winning a lottery is almost nil, right? So this is something that we are imagining. So if I won a lottery, well, then in that particular case, if I had enough of money, then I would go on a world tour. So this is the other condition, the outcome of that particular condition that has been fulfilled. But then again, it's an imaginary situation. I'm not pretty sure if that's going to happen. It's all in my head. So this is our improbable condition. Improbable condition. So let me give you one more example before I proceed. Supposing if I met a celebrity, what would you do? Or if you met a celebrity, what would you do? Well, I certainly would click a selfie. Right? I'm pretty sure you also would do something of that sort. But if I met a celebrity, then I sure would click a selfie with the person. So these are imaginary things happening. Of these things, the possibility of these things happening is almost zero. The condition, these things might not happen at all. Maybe if you really are lucky, maybe this could happen, this could happen. But what are the chances? Hardly, let's say 1 or 2%, 1 or 2%, that's it. So that is why it is referred to as improbable or hypothetical situations. Well, there is another thing over here, that is in if clause. We can also use were and infinitive because we are talking about imaginary situations over here. Supposing if I say, if I were you. If I were you, I would take that job. But am I you? Certainly not. If I were you, instead of using, well, these kind of usages are not, when you use the subject as I, we always use am, right? Or we use either, in past tense we use was or we use will. We say I will, I was, or I am. But we really don't use were, but we do use were in this particular situation, that is in second conditional or improbable conditional. That is improbable conditional. We do use were because we are referring to an imaginary situation over here, a hypothetical situation over here. Therefore, it is grammatically correct. using were over here is grammatically correct. So you say, if I were you, which obviously is not going to happen. I'm never going to be you. But then again, this is something that I'm imagining, right? So if I were you, I would take that job. So here, this is our if conditional. This is our action, the outcome, or a situation. Supposing if this conditional had been fulfilled, this would have happened, is what I'm trying to say. Next one is, if I, let us say, if I were to win a lottery, then what would I do? I would go on a world tour. These are hypothetical situations. If I were to win a lottery, then I would go on a world tour. So these are our improbable conditional. This is our improbable conditional. Moving on, this is the last conditional, but then this is the fourth conditional, but then we refer to this as third conditional. I know it's pretty much confusing, but this is the fourth conditional, but we refer to it as third conditional, or something that is never going to happen, which is impossible. Impossible. The conditions suggested by the if clause cannot be fulfilled because they refer to the past. Focus on this tense over here. They refer to past. Hence, they are called as impossible conditionals, meaning this is never. The actions, even though the condition is fulfilled, the actions will never come true. It's only imaginary, but then we are talking about a different scenario altogether. Before I give you the examples, let me focus on the sentence structure. And we begin with if clause, and the if clause is in past perfect. The if clause is in past perfect, and the other clause would be, we use either would or could, and the main verb is past participle. Before I give you the examples, let us take a look at the sentence structure. Well, past perfect, what do we use? What is the sentence structure of past perfect, by the way? Well, it begins with subject. Soon after the subject, we do have the auxiliary. In past tense or in past perfect, we use the auxiliary had alone. Therefore, we use had. And then what do we use in perfect tenses? What's the main verb that we use in perfect tenses? Well, we use V3, which is past participle. Which is past participle. So this is going to be the if clause in impossible condition. Then you have the second condition, which is going to be in after subject. After subject, we either use would or could, unlike the perfect tense. Here we do use had. We use had, but over here we use would or could. And then we use the third form of the verb, which is past participle. Let us take a look at the examples to give you the clarity of what I am actually referring to. Here we go. Number one, if they had. Focus on the meaning of the statement. You will have clarity on it. If they had offered me a decent salary. If they had offered me a decent salary, then I would have accepted the offer. Well, first let us analyze the statement over here, all right? If they had offered me a decent salary, if they had offered me a decent salary, let me rephrase this thing. A decent Okay. If they had offered me a decent salary. If they had offered. Well, which tense is it in? It is in past perfect. We are referring to an action that has already been completed in the past. The possibility of this action happening at the moment is nil. Under no circumstances this action can happen now. The possibility is impossible. The possibility is impossible. This action will never come true. But then now we are thinking about a different outcome. We are imagining a hypothetical situation, obviously, and now we are thinking about a different outcome. We're not thinking about a situation here, we are thinking about a different outcome. If they had offered me a decent salary, if they had done in the past, then I would have accepted the offer. But they did not offer me a decent salary. Therefore, the outcome right now is I did not take the job, right? Let me give you another example to give you a clarity on the same thing. If you had, that is, if you had parked the car in the garage. In the garage. Now this is our if clause and this is the conditional. And what could have happened if this conditional had fulfilled? Well, it would not have been stolen. Right? We are talking about something that is completed, done. If you had parked the car in the garage, if you had done this, then it would not have been stolen. But what has happened right now? You did not park the car in your garage, but instead you parked it on the road. And what has happened now? What is the outcome of it now? Well, at the moment, it is stolen. But if you had done a different action, if a different condition had been fulfilled, then this would have happened for sure. But now the possibility of this is impossible. Now this is definitely not going to happen. Let me give you the other examples. That is, if you had, remember, focus on the sentence structure. If you had studied well. If you had studied well, then what would have happened? You would have passed. You would have passed the test. If you had studied well, then you would have passed. Now this is again an impossible situation. That is, in the past, if you had studied well, the outcome would have been you would have passed the test. What is the outcome at the moment? Well, right now, you would have passed. You have failed. The outcome at the moment is failing. But supposing if you had done it differently, then this would have been your outcome. But now it is impossible. Now it is impossible for this action to be fulfilled. Well, unless in real life situation, unless you start studying now, well, this could be the situation. So start studying now and start preparing for your examinations and make sure you do pass in your examinations rather regretting later on, rather making it an impossible situation. Let me give you one more example so that we can move on to the quiz that we have. If we had not eaten that street food last night, but now we have already had. So what has happened right now? Let us take a look at that. And we wouldn't have fallen sick if we had not eaten that particular street food last night, right now at the moment, we wouldn't have fallen sick. But what is the present scenario? We all are sick. We are not feeling well. What did we do? Because we have already had the food and we probably have food poisoning at the moment, and now it is impossible to change that particular action. Let us quickly take a recap. Here we are talking about the first one. The first one is, the first one is referred to as zero conditional, and here the sentence structure that you use is the first one, that is the if conditional, takes simple present, and the other clause is also in simple present. All right, so this is referred to as zero conditional, and it is also referred to as possible conditional, because when we are referring to the actions over here, we are referring to either general truth or a scientific fact or a universal truth, and the possibility of this action happening. If one condition is fulfilled, the other action will definitely happen. That is 100% sure. The second one is referred to as first, and the sentence structure, or we also refer to this as probable, and here the sentence structure is definitely if clause, and we have simple present. The if clause is in simple present, and then the second clause is in simple future. All right, now the third one is referred to as second conditional, or it is also referred to as improbable, meaning the chances of this action happening is nil, almost nil or zero. Well, it sounds pretty ironic when you take the names over here. Ignore the names and focus on the word and the meaning of this action and the situations over here. And here we are talking about a hypothetical situation, unreal situations, imaginary situations. And here we use the if clause is used in simple past. In simple past, and the other clause is used in, uses would over here. The last one, which is the fourth one, is referred to as third conditional. Pretty confusing, I know, and this is referred to as impossible because the probability of the actions coming through are impossible. Here it is 0. Maybe there is 1 or 2% of chance, supposing if you really are lucky, then you might win a lottery. So chances, let us say just 1%, but here 100%. And here, let us say maybe 75%, or could be more than that, but not 100% for sure. But then if one condition is fulfilled, the other will happen for sure. Similarly, second one, when we refer to the third one, which is called as second or improbable, the chances are almost nil unless there were a miracle to happen. But the fourth one, which is referred to as third or referred to as impossible conditional, the chances of these actions happening are 0 because we are referring to a past conditional over here. And the sentence structure that we are going to use over here is, the if clause is in past perfect, and then we have either would or could, and then past participle. All right, so these are our conditionals. I'm not quite sure why, but I'm not getting even a single response, and I am not aware how to proceed with the quiz. Let us see if I can manage getting replies from you people. Well, let us proceed towards the quiz. number one, this is your question. If you guys are there and if you are able to hear me, I would want you people to read the question that is given, and I would want you people to respond and analyze, take a look at the question and respond. If not, I'll certainly explain it myself. The question is, what would you do differently if you dash to do this again? What would you do differently if you dash to do this again? What answer? The options are given. There is A, B, and C. Which one would you go with? I'm just going to presume that there is some technical issue. Well, so let me just proceed with the answers. Well, here we are going to pick the answer as would have. If you would have to do this again. We are talking about the third conditional over here, that is improbable. Improbable. What is the sentence structure of that? If you can remember, we use the if clause, and the if clause is this over here, and if clause is in simple past, and then the other clause is in would. So here is our would, and this refers to simple past. Next one is, if I dash more expensive bike, I won't have enough money to pay my rent. If I dash more expensive bike, I won't have enough money to pay my rent. So what could be the answer? The options are buy, bought, or will buy. Which condition does this qualify as? Well, the answer over here is buy. Answer is buy. If I buy more expensive bike, I won't have enough money to pay my rent. So this speaks about the condition, that is the second one, which is probable, which is probable condition. Next one is the third question, which is the project dash delayed if I don't finish this report on time. The options are A is, B will be, and C would be. The project dash delayed if I don't finish this report on time. So what could be the answer here? The project will be delayed if I don't finish this report on time. The project will be delayed if I don't finish this report on time. So we are talking again about the first one, in fact, that is probable. Next one, if I had known about your reaction, I dash kept my mouth shut. If I had known about your reaction, I dash kept my mouth shut. So option is A would have, B would, and third one is will. What could be the answer according to you? What type of action is it referring to? Is it referring to a possible condition, or is it referring to a probable condition, or is it referring to an improbable condition, or is it referring to an impossible situation? What is it? Well, I say it is referring to an impossible situation. That is why the answer is would have. We are referring to, this statement refers to an impossible situation. Next question is, if I dash you, I would go to the doctor's. Now, what could this be? The options are A, am, B, were, C, will be. Focus on the type of action. What is it talking about? If I dash you, I would go to the doctor's. If I dash you, I would go to the doctors. Well, it is screaming at our faces. The answer over here is were. If I were you, I would go to the doctors. This is talking about an imaginary situation, therefore this is improbable. Improbable conditional, all right? The next question, if I look at a computer screen for too long, I dash a headache. What will happen if this happens? If I look at a computer screen for too long, if this condition takes place, what is going to happen here? I dash a headache. Well, the options are A, get, B, got, and C, would get. What do you think is the answer according to you guys? If I look at a computer screen, what type of possibility is it speaking over here? Is it expressing a possibility, or is it expressing a probability or improbability, or speaking about an impossible situation? That is what you are supposed to focus at when you are deciding the answers. Well, according to me, it is certainly talking about possibility. This is going to happen. This is possible, and therefore the answer is I get a headache. Next one, you don't need to print your ticket as long as dash the email. You don't need to print your ticket as long as dash the email. What type of possibility are we speaking about over here? Or what type of conditions are we talking about over here? Is it possible, probable, improbable, or impossible? The options are A, you have, B, you had, C, you will have. You don't need to print your ticket as long as the dash the email. So I think the answer over here is you have. As long as you have, we are speaking about the zero conditional, that is possibility, possible. If this happens, this is sure to happen. Next one is, if I cared what people think, I dash a very boring life. If I cared what people think, I dash a very boring life. The options are had, will have, would have. So what do you think is the answer over here? If I cared what people think, I dash. Well, this speaks about the improbable situation. This speaks about improbable situation, an imaginary situation. Therefore, we are going to use the third option, which is would have. And the next one, we've got two more, by the way. I will go, or I'll go and visit her as soon as I dash time. So what do you think is the possibility over here? Here, the options are A, have, B, will have, and C, had. I'll go and visit her as soon as I dash time. Well, here we are talking about probable situation because we have I will. And this refers to a probable situation. Therefore, the answer over here is have. I have time. So this is probable situation. The last one is, if she hadn't kept it a secret for so long, she dash had a chance. If she hadn't kept it a secret for so long, she dash had a chance. Well, the options are A, will have, B, would have, and C, would. What type of possibility are we talking about? Possible, probable, improbable, or impossible? What are we actually referring to or referring at? Well, it is again staring at us. If she hadn't kept, we are in fact talking about a past situation. Therefore, we are talking about an impossible situation over here. We are talking about the impossible situation. That is why the answer is would have. she would have had a chance. So these are the conditionals. I'm not quite sure why I wasn't able to chat with you people. I could see you all coming in and walking out, but I think there was a little bit of technical glitch. Well, anyway, I am going to be here tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So do join in again tomorrow. I hope the issue will be resolved by tomorrow. So let's join in again tomorrow. And do not forget the code, that is TA01. And do not forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And do leave your comments in the comment box, because I want to know what the issue is. Actually, you are not able to respond to me in the live class. So do leave your comments when you're walking out. And of course, do join our Telegram group for our latest updates on our upcoming videos. Well, until I meet you again tomorrow at 7 o'clock, thank you very much for joining today. Bye-bye, all of you. See you again tomorrow.